Hello there, Chris Pearson here of Wedding Industry Wisdom with a new tripod. My old one broke, so that's why it's not completely level. I bought one that I thought seemed like it'd be really clever and cunning with its leg. It's got these kind of bendy legs, which you can form into any shape, but they're just a bit rubbish, which is disappointing. So Jack will be joining us shortly. I'm just kicking things off a little early, as we do, just to allow people to join in. I don't even know why I'm talking right now, because there is literally no one watching at all at the moment. So I could be saying anything. People may watch back, so I will keep it relatively sensible. So, what can I tell you about? It was my birthday at the weekend. I have turned 35, so I have a cardboard crown that one of my daughters made me. I'm going to wear that now because I can. I can take it off now. Jack will tell me off for ranting or being in trouble. I'll get in trouble with him or something or other. So yeah, it's 35, halfway to 70, if is a very depressing way of thinking about it. There is no agenda, as there is nowadays. 35 lol. I'm assuming you thought I was older than 35, so thanks for that, Denise. Or did I? Maybe I've misread that. I decided to try and be a bit less ranty, because apparently according to Jack, I was really ranty in the last week's episode. I just get passionate about stuff, and yeah, what can I say? So hopefully Jack will be here soon. He's probably watching now secretly, and is. You're halfway to 110, and I have every hope that you'll get there, Denise. So, Denise, regular watcher, you kind of mentioned about Instagram. Obviously, I pointed you in the direction of the free course. If there's anything in particular that you'd like us to talk about that's not kind of Instagram, because I think that we've covered it quite well on there. So I'll be kind of going over stuff that is already available out there. But if there's anything in particular that you'd like just to chat about, then please do let me know. Jack is being added in as we speak. He's been down to London and back now, and he's been to the gym, so he's had a very busy day. And I've been
Hello.
Hello, Jack.
You're right.
Yeah, it's a bit strange though, because we've both been a bit busy, so we haven't actually Skyped or anything for at least like 4 days. I think it's been.
Disturbingly, yeah, it's been quite a long time, isn't it?
Because it's pretty much daily. Because yeah. So, how was the big smoke?
Big Smoke. It was yeah, it was all right. Busy because it was obviously summer holidays, so there were lots of people there, getting in my way, which is always not very nice. There you go. I'm just gonna plug you in. There we go.
Your road,
Um, there we go.
your
Right.
road. What are they doing on it? Right,
I know exactly. My right away, always. Just fab.
always.
Right. I'm just making sure this is all working properly. We don't want that. We want that. Ooh, how exciting.
Yeah, that Denise. The free course is a full 2 hours. So. The fact that you've not watched it when I only told you about it about 3 hours ago, you are excused.
This time.
There is this time. There is obviously plenty of information in there. So, but yeah, the Unit 6 on social media has got some very powerful nuggets of information from the social media side of things. So yeah, check that out.
Yeah,
Um,
that's all Chris's. So I sat, watched, and took notes myself. I can say it's very good.
yeah. Are you ready to go, Jack?
I am ready to go. I feel like I've forgotten something because that was quite easy. But
Is
yeah, I'm
it
ready to go.
is it a plan of what to talk about?
Yeah, well, I've been busy, and as have you. So we're just going to go for it.
Let's just go for it.
Okay.
Hello there, Chris Piercy here of Wedding Industry Wisdom, and welcome to today's live episode. Joined always by Jack Brister. Say hi, Jack.
Hi. I didn't do it.
You didn't do it.
Oh, so
Did it
grown
feel
up.
wrong because it wasn't hello, Jack? That
It threw me a bit. Yeah, that's what threw me off. So I couldn't do it.
Yeah. So, do you you just kind of said you haven't got a plan at all on what to talk about. So have you literally not got a plan at all?
No, I was hoping you were going to do that because I've had a busy. I mean, I've been out all day, as you know. We have got exciting news coming later, which I'm not going to reveal now. I will be revealing, or we will be revealing at the end of the podcast.
I'm
Um,
really excited about this.
I know you are, and you have forced me to like it. And
But do you now like it?
I don't hate it. Is that the same thing?
No, because it kind of sounds like you're indifferent to it. As far as I'm
Okay,
concerned, this is brilliant. But
the idea is very good, and I am looking forward to sharing it with people a little bit later on. We should point out that whilst we are talking about our hype at the end, if you have got any questions, please do pop them in the comments.
yeah,
Excuse me, and we'll be happy to answer them. But yeah, it's so I've been to London today, and on the train there and the train back, I was busy doing this thing that we will be revealing a little bit later on, working on it as Chris well knows. And yes, I've grown to the idea of it. The idea itself is very good. It's the way Chris has decided to present it that I find interesting, shall we say? But that's for you guys to
it's
decide.
yeah. Essentially, I think it's great, but it doesn't really matter what I think because it's the end user of the product who decides whether it's any good or not. And what's really exciting from your point, well, from anyone listening's point of view, is the fact that this is completely free. So it's something new that we're doing, completely free, and we will tell you about it at the end. So can I start with a rant?
Go for it. I always enjoy your rants.
No, you hate. No, you don't. You hate me. Like, start. Now, this is something which I haven't actually spoken to you about
Okay.
on what's your opinion on it, but you may have seen this shared by a number of different wedding suppliers potentially, and it's a new. I don't know if you could call it a meme, but it's a new thing coming up saying, do you want to help out my small business? What you can do is you can go onto page, you can go onto community, and then you can click invite friends, and you can invite all of your friends to come and like my page, and that would really help my business. Um, and I'm just kind of calling baloney on the whole thing. Um, Jessica Kelly is
Why?
watching, so hi Jessica. Um, But why? Because as I've mentioned multiple times before, from a social media point of view, that the quality of the people that are following you is much more important than the quantity of people following you. And I don't know this for a fact, but I would make a strong assumption that when Facebook looks at what people like about your page and whether they want to show it to more people, they are going to be looking at the percentage of people who are interacting with the stuff that you are putting out there. So if you end up getting, say, let's say loads of your friends invite hundreds of their friends and you get another 100 likes on your page, for example, but none of those people are, getting married or have any interest in the services that you're offering, they're probably never ever going to interact with the stuff that you're putting out there, and hence you're probably almost shooting yourself in the foot. It's better to actually put something out there to people which is going to make them like your page, and then there'll be the right people liking your page as a result of it, as opposed to 500 people following you who've got no intention of ever interacting with your stuff, buying your services or whatever. What's your thoughts on
Okay,
that?
so I agree with you, but me trying to play devil's advocate here, is there any legs in the social proof of having a few hundred extra thousand or a few hundred extra followers on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is? Is there any legs in having them purely from that point of view? Because I know I've been doing research on some various different things, and sometimes I'll go onto their Facebook page and I'll see they've only got 57 likes or something like that, and I instantly go, that's not very many. So, is there any legs in potentially having that as a reason to have people following your page, even if perhaps they aren't your ideal client?
I would say that the only time I'd say this is, yeah, go ahead and do it, is if you're just starting out, or you're just starting out your page, just to kind of give it that initial boost. But if you've been going 5 years and you've got yourself up to 500 likes or something like that, well, I'd suggest that number one, you're probably not. There are better ways to be getting those likes, but yeah, I don't think that. I mean, if you're like sub 100 likes or sub 200 likes, then yeah, maybe do that just to kind of boost the numbers up a little bit. But I think that particularly on Facebook, it's much less of a numbers game than it is on Instagram.
Right.
Instagram, people care a lot more about numbers, I think, but Facebook, not so much. And I've got something like 1,600 likes, but it used to really bother me if I saw that the number gone down. I was like, why is someone not liking my stuff anymore? But I always think now, well, if they don't like if they're not liking my page anymore, they were never going to do business with me anyway. So
Yeah.
I'd much rather have 16 likes than 1,600 if all 16 of those people were people who were going to buy off me on a monthly basis. So yeah, I think it's always, for me, the quality of the people over the quantity.
Right. Yeah,
And
and I am inclined to agree.
whilst I'm ranting, and I'm not sure people do this so much anymore, but it was a thing that people used to do, was to run Facebook advertising campaigns with the goal of getting likes. Don't ever, 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 ever do that. Do I need to explain why?
I feel like you've kind of explained it within what you just said.
Well, not just because it's like quality over quantity or anything like that, but it's much better to advertise your best stuff to them, like a blog or like a whatever it might be that you're sharing out your stuff, and then if people like that stuff, then they are going to like your page anyway. So, the like should come as a byproduct of advertising your very best stuff to them, as opposed to just going, hi, I design dresses, can I have a like, please? Which, why would you do that? Julie Nunn has joined us, and she's saying, hi, Chris, Jack, and Denise. Thank you for joining us, Julie.
Any questions, let us know in the comments, as always. Okay, is there any legs, or are there any legs, in running a Facebook like campaign as a retargeting campaign?
As a retargeting campaign,
I'm just trying to see if there is a reason for running a campaign.
I don't think so,
Facebook
because I think yeah, I mean, just for absolute clarity, retargeting is when you're using a Facebook pixel, which is a little bit of code you install on your website, which tracks the fact that a Facebook user will have been onto your website. You can then make a target audience with that group of people, so that you can say, oh, everyone that's been on my wedding page, I want to advertise to them again. It's a very solid marketing strategy. It's the sort of thing that Amazon do, where if you search for an Amazon product, you look at that, and then you go on Facebook, and then that product keeps coming up everywhere you go on the internet. Same premise. I'd say no again, because even in the instance where you are retargeting, you should be retargeting with further great content that is again going to convince them that you are worthy of a like. But even then, I'd much rather have an inquiry than a like. I mean, not everyone who makes an inquiry with me through Facebook ends up liking my page. I'd much rather have their inquiry than their like, as I'm sure everyone would. I mean, the chances are they do end up liking my page eventually, because I'll ask them to, or directly, or whatever. But yeah, I'd always, you want to be thinking of what's your, unless you could, one tiny sliver, unless
Okay.
you have stats which absolutely 100% back up and guarantee that people who like your page end up inquiring with you, then no. But I don't think anyone has that level of social ability in their social media.
No, I mean that's a very reasonable reason to start advertising for Facebook Lives, is if you know that they're going to end up making an inquiry with you,
If
but
you can
ultimately
guarantee that.
end up booking you. That's the important thing, isn't it? Is that they book you at the end of the day.
Yeah,
because otherwise it's
so
all
organic
wasted.
reach, organic reach on Facebook is absolutely dead. It's horrendous. It's I struggle to comprehend how low it is. I mean, obviously it's free, so you can't complain too much. But when you're putting out a post to 1,600 people, and then the post has been online for 48 hours, and it says it's got a reach of 250 people, you're like, uh.
Yeah.
Julie Nunn says, has anyone ever had any sales from advertising in a bridal magazine? Can I just give a blanket no?
You can give a blanket no if you like.
Uh,
It's so there are two types of advertising in a bridal magazine, as far as I'm aware. There's the straight up ad, and then the sponsored article. As far as
editorial
I'm
type
aware,
thing,
sorry,
like an
editorial.
editorial type.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly that. Yeah, those, as far as I'm aware, are the two types of advertising. If I was to do either one, it would only ever be an editorial, because it looks a lot better. And people will just skim past the adverts. I know whenever I've bought, not that I buy magazines anymore, but if we have in the office a couple of magazines, bridal magazines that we get to give inspiration for writing blog posts. Ooh, excuse me. So that we get the idea as to what we're going to write about next. And we just literally, I mean, we have a slightly different purpose to people who are brides, obviously, but essentially we just skim past all the paid ads, and we'll read the editorials, or at least skim through the editorials, and then skip through all the ads again. So if I was to do any type of bridal magazine advertising, it would be through editorials alone, in my opinion. But I don't know how many people actually use print magazines or print media anymore when everything's online.
Yeah, I mean the one thing I'd add to that though is that I mean I had a bridal magazine phone me the other day and offer me some advertising space, and they will offer you the space in the magazine, and it is often linked in with a some online advertising as well. So they will also have the same post
On your directory.
on their directory or whatever. So there is often a little bit more to it than that. But I think that in my experience of it, I have had a couple of bookings from being in a bridal magazine. But when I say a couple, I think I mean literally two. It's not it, so it has given me a positive return on investment. But I think that in this day and age, with the stats and the technology that's available, you want to be able to know exactly what's coming from where really, really easily. So with Facebook ads, I can within not very long, I can tell you exactly which of my different adverts with exactly which copy text and exactly which picture is giving me the best return on my investment, which what is getting the clicks, and then I can then look and test different things and say, oh no, this blog post is getting people that are staying on it longer than this one, or I can track people through my site. Whereas if you put something into print, you're just going, here's my one copy text, here's my one advert, it goes to this one page. I mean, you could set up a individual landing page to test the traffic that goes to that page. However, it's just very difficult to track whether it's worth it or not.
I think so. The only thing I can think of mainly as a positive for bridal magazines, and this would definitely apply in what Jessica's just said below in the comments. She said, I choose not to do bridal magazines. The only time she features in them is when it's a styled shoot and she's featured within them as a florist. And I think the time it becomes relevant is if you're talking about being everywhere. So you can't necessarily blanket statements say they don't work, but you won't be able to get the same statistics. But it may be that they originally see you on a bridal magazine,
Yeah.
and they go, oh, that might be a nice idea. Have a look at you, don't inquire, then retarget them through Facebook, and you'll end up saying, well, that's a Facebook inquiry when they originally found out about you from a bridal magazine. So there are legs in saying being everywhere is good. So yes, Chris.
I just want to wonder how many times you're going to say, "Is there legs in that in this particular episode?" Because that's like
I can do it a
four
lot if you
times now.
like.
It's like absolutely bingo again, but carry
Oh
on.
no, not again. So yeah, and Jessica says, ask your brides where they when they book where they found you from. If they find you from, obviously, if they find you from the magazine, then you know that that advertising is right. If they originally hear from you from that, and then they retarget you on Facebook, then you know that's a good marketing strategy because it is working. And that's something I do with all my brides is I ask them how they found me, and then I'll keep
Yes.
doing more of that stuff. But the thing is, even in that instance, you will they may originally hear from you, obviously, through a bridal magazine. You may then see your advert on Facebook, they may see you on Google, and they may see you on YouTube ads or something like that. And they'll see all of these things, but they will say they only found you on the magazine in the first instance, or they only found you on the last one that made them inquire. But all of those things will have led up to that inquiry in
Yeah.
the first place. So you can't necessarily say that because they say they found you through the bridal magazine doesn't mean that the other ones didn't play a role at all. So you don't want to just sort of kick the legs out because you think that one's not working because no one's saying that
Yeah.
that people are booking because of it.
Julie says, I need to learn more about Facebook ads. I have a course. So
Convenient.
it's convenient. Uh, yeah, it's on the website if you are interested. But yeah, just with for those who don't know, Julie is a stationer. So I would network with suppliers in your area about maybe getting on a styled shoot and getting featured within the magazine on that angle. But I think that, yeah, I mean, I think you summed it up pretty nicely, actually, Jack. Probably entirely accidentally, almost, by saying,
It was
I don't buy.
100% intentional.
Well, your line was, I don't buy magazines, but I buy these just for blog post inspiration, basically. It's like, yeah, I don't think people buy magazines anywhere near as much. Well, I don't know. I mean, this is entirely hearsay or, but I can't remember the last time I bought a magazine. And
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I feel like people, if I was guessing, and again, I don't know this because I'm not a bride myself, but if I was buying a magazine, it wouldn't necessarily be for the written content. It would be for the imagery to create some sort of scrapbook or some sort of essentially physical Pinterest board. I feel
yeah,
like that's probably what people would be buying a magazine for, but again, that's purely conjecture, and I don't actually know that for fact.
yeah, but yeah, you can just do it on Pinterest now, so it is.
Exactly.
But I do think there is a certain. I mean, I don't think Bride magazines are completely dead, and I do think they do have something to them. But if you're being asked to spend £200, for example, on an advert in a bridal magazine, I would guarantee that that £200 could be better spent elsewhere.
The winner is the bridal
If
magazine.
Yeah, the bridal magazine's going to be getting more out of it than you ever will be. But yeah, I'd look into styled shoots. I think that would be a good thing to do. Grant Maidment's watching. Hi there, Grant. £249. See, that's I don't know how much that is in stationary terms, but that's one wedding.
I honestly have no idea.
I don't know. Is that half a
It's
wedding? I don't know how much stationers cost. But I think that's the sort of thing that you need to be looking at, because there's something that I think that people don't quite realise when they think about advertising, because people will turn that's for a quarter page as well. That is expensive, in my opinion.
in my opinion, I would agree.
Because when these salespeople get you on the phone about advertising, wherever it might be, they will say to you, well, how much do you charge? Oh, I charge this much. And then you say, well, you only need to get one of these and it's paid for itself. And whilst that is true, it doesn't need to get you one wedding. It needs to get you one wedding which you would not have got otherwise. So
Yeah.
if the bridal magazine advert got you a wedding booked in for a Saturday next July, when, for instance, myself and Jack, for Saturdays in July or whatever, I think I've got one space left for Saturdays in July next year or something like that. and several of those dates I've had multiple inquiries for already. So it's not about getting one wedding thing, one wedding you wouldn't have got otherwise. So for one of the venues where I pay to be part of the recommended supply team, one of the reasons I'm there, apart from the fact it's a really lovely venue and the wedding fairs are all included in that, is that they do so many midweek weddings that I've got, I've had a Monday wedding there recently. I've had a couple of Thursday weddings, which I would not have those otherwise. So that pays me back so much. If it was just getting me multiple Saturday weddings, I don't really need loads more Saturday weddings because Saturday weddings kind of take care of themselves.
Yeah, Jessica says that
yeah,
she's done an advert before that was about £80. So £249 is way too much. I vaguely remember, I've never actually been in a wedding magazine, but I have been pitched wedding magazines before usually by wedding fairs. So we have so Archant, the big print distribution company, are based in Norwich, which is where I live, and they have big wedding fairs up here. And obviously, because they're mainly a print company, they have a bridal magazine that goes out to Norfolk, to Suffolk, Cambridgeshire, Peterborough, all those kind of places, up into Lincolnshire as well. And they try and tack on an advert with their wedding fairs all the time. And I vaguely remember it being around the £80 mark, but don't quote me on that. So that's not far from Julia. Where are you based, Julie? So just be good to know, I suppose. Really, I thought you were kind of a little bit further away than that. So yeah, I think that £249 is way too much.
I think that also you are often in a very strong bargaining position when a bridal magazine approaches you, because I don't know anyone who's ever approached a bridal magazine about advertising with them. It's always the other way around. So that may be their opening offer. I think if you just said, "Oh, sorry, this is a little bit too much for me," and just went quiet for a bit, they'd probably come back to you within about a month saying, "Oh, we've got a space left. It's our final one. We'll do it for half price," or something like that. So if it is an avenue you want to explore, I'd probably play the slow hardball game and just see what you can get them down to, because if they want to fill in the space, they want to fill in the space. But I wouldn't go for it because, like I said, and I don't want to just sound like I'm plugging my own Facebook course or whatever, but the thing about something like Facebook advertising is that you can run a whole bunch of different adverts, where you do different texts and different images, and you can actually test what works rather than just chucking out one bit of copy text and one image in a bridal magazine. You've got no idea how many people have seen that. You've got no idea what the results are. But with Facebook ads, you can tweak them over time rather than just printing something out, and that's
and that's the great thing about it, isn't it? Is if you think about, for £250 in this particular case, what you can do with £250 on online advertising is just insane as to what you'd be able to get. Yeah, first of all, it would all be trackable, as Chris has mentioned a couple of times already, but it would also be you'd be able to use that tracking information to be able to tell you which adverts are working, which ones aren't, which ones you need to tweak, which ones, so you have way more information. Plus, I guarantee you will get a lot more traffic to your website than you ever will through a bridal magazine, because you have, as he said, no idea. They can spew all the numbers they want at you as to how many people their magazine usually reaches, but it means diddly squat at the end of the day. So, because not only those numbers, as far as I'm aware, also include the wholesale numbers, which don't actually get read by anybody. Like we get,
arguably,
so the magazines that we have, we pick them up from the gym. Our gym has got a stack of them because it's also a spa and leisure centre and that kind of thing. So there's a whole stack of them, and most of them never get picked up, but those will all count towards that read total.
Yeah.
So it's not a very fair representation of what they're saying they get, as opposed to what actually happens, which is what you get with Facebook or Google or any kind of online advertising.
Yeah, I just had a very quick check, and with the current campaign that I'm running, as I'm running it, for 250 quid, I could get 5,000 targeted videos directly onto my website. which, because I'm running a ridiculously good campaign that's operating at 5p a click. So, you know, I'd be shocked if a bridal magazine could compete with that. I mean, but I don't want to be hating on them at all, but I think that the advertising in them is passe, shall we say?
Yeah, if it was the £80 mark or near that area, then maybe I would say give it a go, because it may help your whole encompassing being everywhere sort of theory of just, you know, they may see you here and then see you there and then somewhere else, and it'll lead to an inquiry. But at £250 to be essentially a secondary form of advertising is a lot of money to not really potentially see any direct result from it.
Or a couple of, I mean, that's potentially a couple of wedding fairs, depending on what kind of
True.
portion of the market you're hitting. So, from, let's say that is a couple of wedding fairs. Let's say you can get 15 leads from each wedding fairs. Are you going to get 30 leads from that ad? I think you've got to liken it to how else it could be spent within the business.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but it's your business. We can't tell you how to run things. I mean, we've made mistakes. I've spent money on bridal magazines before. It's not done a lot for me, and it's something that I've just categorically said to myself, I'm never doing print advertising again. I'm not sure if that's just because it's the wrong form of marketing for me as a kind of, I think video is probably the best way for myself as a magician to show off what I do, and pictures to a certain extent, but yeah, having just one photo in a quarter page and is never going to have a chance to properly show off exactly what I do, because people just go, oh, magician, I don't want a magician, because magicians they have top hats and rabbits and they pull handkerchiefs out and stuff or whatever. You know, that's as far as their brain's going to go with it, for example.
And I think also, if we're, I want to say one final thing, this, and maybe we'll move on to something else, because I know we've talked about this for quite a little bit now, but the chances are, and this is again not based in fact, this is a bit of a guess, a guarantee that you are not the only stationer who is advertising in the bridal magazine. Just because you won't be, there will be others in there. There'll be 2 or 3 others, but I feel pretty confident in saying that you will be one of the few, if not the only person advertising on Facebook, because wedding suppliers on the whole, as far as I'm aware, don't understand Facebook, don't know how to use Facebook advertising, which is why Chris created the course, in order to help people learn how to use it properly. But I feel like the chances are you're going to be competing, well, obviously. But you're going to be competing with a lot less people on Facebook than you are, and you'll be able to reach a lot more people with a lot less competition on Facebook than you will through a wedding magazine.
Or as I mentioned last week, yeah, I haven't got a course on it because I've not done it enough. But if you're not looking to spend too much money, then Pinterest ads are cheap as chips, and you can literally directly target people looking for wedding stationery. So
I think that's a great place to be as
you can be that specific. So if you've got really strong imagery of your work, which I would imagine that you would do as a stationer, then that might be something to look at. I mean, I'm not sure, I can't remember if you signed up for our free course or not, but if you haven't, then do check out the free course, because the Pinterest is not really mine and Jack's. It's never going to be our area because of what we do. However, I spent some money advertising on it just to have a play around with it, to get to know the platform a bit. So if you do our free course, which is weddingindustrywisdom.co.uk, go on there, and there's a button that says free course. Sign up for that. There is an area on Pinterest which talks about some little hints and tips that I've picked up along the way whilst doing that. Yeah, you did. Yeah, noted that you did sign up for it. Watched a bit on Pinterest again, and it does hold your hand quite nicely through the advertising thing. And you can set your budget to be £1 a day, which is, like.
I mean, that last year, so your £250 will last you, well, nearly a year.
Yeah, I mean, you might not get
theory.
the most amount of people seeing it, but you will get stats, and
Yeah.
you will be able to, and the thing about it is that, and this is the other thing, it really sounds like we're hanging on bridal magazine advertising, but if with online advertising, if you can clearly tell it's not working, you can just click a button and then your money stops being spent. And you can do that after you spent £12 if you want to. Whereas, once the magazine's been printed, your money's gone. And there's no way of just kind of saying, actually, can we get those magazines back and I'll just tear up my advert so it's not in there anymore.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
It doesn't work. But
when it's
as I
gone,
said,
it's gone.
exactly. We don't want to be hating on bridal magazines because they obviously have a place and people do buy them. So if it was cheaper, I would say go for it, give it a go, see what happens. But at that price point, I think it's too much to be having a punt, really.
Play hardball. If you're
If
interested
you
in
can
it, play hard.
if you can get the price down to a decent price that's reasonable, go for it and give it a go, see what happens.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, you lose 250 quid, which is not great, but it's not it's not going to be business ending.
No,
So,
definitely not.
but
It shouldn't
just
be
to
anyway.
just to give a kind of more rounded view that's not quite so violently
Yeah.
abusive.
So anti-bridal magazines.
So anti-bridal magazine. We love your bridal magazines. We don't know. No, I'm just a bit annoyed at them because I wrote to all of them, sending them all a free copy of my book, and not a single one got back in contact with me.
Wow.
So,
Let me just wipe away that tear from my eye while I play the world's smallest violin for you.
well,
Uh,
I sent them a book as like directly to the editor. I took the time to find out who the editors were, sent the book directly to them, wrote them a letter, had it wrapped up as a Christmas present because it was just before Christmas. I guess they just probably phoned the bomb squad or something. I don't know. Unsolicited packages turning up, and
well, there we go.
there we go. Yeah,
So let's move on. I did notice in one of the comments you asked in the group earlier on this morning or this afternoon if anyone had any questions, and Denise was asking about Instagram. I don't know if you actually answered her questions there or if you want
well,
to kind of
I
touch on
pointed
them
her in
now.
the direction of the free course because I think there is some great information on there about Instagram, and it's I don't want to be repeating the same stuff that we've got available
Yep,
elsewhere. So,
fair enough.
but yeah, I don't know if that's a cop out, but no, I
I
think
mean,
that
it's a little bit, but we can kind of skirt around the idea of Instagram and have a little chat about how it works in terms of the wedding industry, and what we do, if you want.
yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest thing to think about with Instagram and social media as a whole, and I rant quite nicely. If you get the paid version of our course, particularly the social media one, I'd go on a rather large rant about this.
He does.
But yeah, the biggest thing to understand with Instagram as a whole is that it is not a sales platform. It is categorically not somewhere to sell yourself as a business. It's a place for you to showcase your work. It's a showcase for you to showcase your. Did I say showcase twice? It's
You did, yeah. Showcase your work, showcase your personality.
That's what I was trying to
That's
say.
what it's for.
Um,
It's, I mean,
that's what it's about.
yeah, it's categorically not built as a sales platform, as you said. I can kind of see the argument behind people saying that Facebook is can be a bit more salesy, but Instagram just isn't because you can't even include links on your posts. For me, that's the no-brainer that made me go, well, I shouldn't be trying to sell on here, sorry, because if I was able to sell and I was able to be, and it was designed for me to sell a product, I would be able to link that product or that service into my Instagram description or onto the feed or something like that. But it just doesn't let you do that. So that's when I realized that it's not a sales platform and it is in fact just a place to showcase what you do and who you are.
Yeah, and I think that the way it's so powerful in the wedding industry is that the wedding industry, no matter how you want to tart it up, it's humans selling to humans at the end of the day. I mean, sometimes you will deal with a slightly slightly bigger company, but essentially it's always going to be a human to human thing. So we've in episodes of the Yes Do I Do podcast, so many people have said to us that the connection between the supplier and the couple is absolutely vital to the success of, you know, that as the business relationship between the two. That creating that connection and showing who you are is what Instagram is all about, essentially. So it's, you know, if you're a little bit funny, a little bit quirky, you know, like we had Sophie from Digital Bohemia on, who like loves dinosaurs and is like she's really out there, and she knows she's out there. And for some people, that's like, oh my God, why the hell would I book her? And she knows that. And then for other people, like, oh my God, I can't imagine booking anyone else because she is so totally up my street.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what we say about, again, in the free course, about the importance of getting your ideal client absolutely spot on. Because, you know, if you show yourself off and who you are on your Instagram, then if you're right for people, then they're just going to gravitate towards you. Yeah, so, sorry, Judy says, someone said to me once, Instagram is like looking in a shop window of a shop that is permanently shut.
I think
Not a bad
that's
analogy.
it's a pretty good analogy. I'll give them that. It is exactly that. It's there to create intrigue and create interest of for people to then find out more about you should they wish to, but they shouldn't feel like it's being shoved down their throats.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll just tell a story. I think I might have shared this on the Wedding Industry Wisdom group page a couple of months ago when it happened, but there was a girl an influencer on Instagram who had something
Oh
like
yes.
2 million followers, and then she decided to release her own t-shirt line. And of the 36 t-shirts she had available, she sold, was it 3 or none or something?
I think it was 3. Yeah, it wasn't very
Yeah.
many at all.
So from her 2 million followers, she was able to sell 3 t-shirts. I mean, I'm not sure if they were just really bad or just really. But even if they were really bad, if you can't sell 36 items to 2 million people, then it says quite a lot.
Yeah.
But and again, this kind of ties back in with the what we were saying right at the start about quality over quantity. You know, if you had 37 people who like absolutely adored every single thing you did, then those 36 like t-shirts would have been snapped up instantly at any price, and one person would be left feeling really, really sad about the fact that they didn't get to get one of these t-shirts. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, just
I
to
think
kind of
that's
tie back into
yeah.
that. So
I think so. I think we should probably, mainly, if I'm honest, I'm about to say this because my phone is going to die at some point. But mate,
I
once
love
we
how
get
much
going,
forethought you put into this. Mine's been charging for the last hour to make sure that, you know, I
yeah,
came up
well,
with this with.
that normally happens, but whenever this must happen to everyone because it seems to always happen to me. Whenever you go to London, like my phone will be fine and it will get to usually throughout the day about 50%, 45%, something like that during a normal working day. When you go to London, it just drains and it's suddenly at 20%, and I don't really know how it happens. But it can't just be me, is it? It's just
No,
me. Okay.
I do think London drains your battery.
I don't really know how it works, but there you go. Uh, so I think we should talk about what we talked about at the start. Our new free
Well, the thing
thing.
just to check this, the thing that we said we were going to reveal at the end, we're actually going to reveal at the end rather than at the start, like you did before.
Yes, yeah. The thing we
Okay.
said we'd reveal at the end is being revealed now at the end of the podcast. So, Chris, because it's your brainchild, and I've just kind of helped you along the way. What I say, I've helped you along the way. I've done all the design work for it. What is this thing?
Okay. I'm very excited about this. It's one of those weird things that I think it's amazing. You might think it's terrible. A lot of people are going to think it's a bit weird, but I think it is I think it's a really fun way of overcoming one of the biggest problems that a lot of people have in business. Now, I think that given the we spoke with a lot of people individually on the two-on-one calls, interact with people on the groups, haven't we? And
Yes.
you'd say that one of the biggest gripes that people have is time wasters. People who can't afford you, they know they can't afford you, or they're trying to get discounts for no apparent reason, or they just stop responding to you, or whatever it might be. Um, what people basically don't like is they don't like time vampires. Okay, so if you're not aware of what, Jack's lost it already. So,
Carry
so if you're
on.
not sure what a time vampire is, and if it's not immediately obvious, a time vampire is someone who sucks and drains time out of your business. Now, time is the only commodity we have which is not renewable. I mean, people worry about money. There's always more money to be had. You can find money, you can win money, or whatever. You can't, time cannot be replaced. So time is incredibly important. So we have. Don't know what's happening. Jack, are you with me?
Yep, I'm still here. You
I don't
disappeared.
know what's happened. I do apologise. Um, yeah, so we came up with the idea together, and then I made it a bit weird. So our completely free thing is it's a 7 day course. It is completely free. Is how to kill time vampires. So we have come up with a each day. If you decide to sign up for this, each day you will receive an email telling you how to kill time vampires. So, what sort of things kill normal vampires and time vampires? And Jack, what are we going to be telling people about?
So I'm going to be honest with you, Chris, because you
You
came
can't
up with
remember
this
them.
idea. I can't remember any of them. I have put the link in the description, in the comments, sorry, so you will be able to go and sign up right now. And you'll be able to see some of the fun images that Chris made me design. But garlic is the first thing, step one. So that we don't really want to reveal too much about what they are right now. We want you guys to sign up and be part of this process. So garlic is step one. We then talk about sunlight. We then talk about wooden stakes, which I kind of got the wrong end of the stick about when Chris was talking about wooden
Wouldn't.
stakes. He thought he was talking about he was talking about stakes that you drive through someone's heart. I thought he was talking about holy crosses. So I designed a holy cross, and that's what we're stuck with now. Then we move on to decapitation, holy water, fire, and finally the sacred bullet. Yes, Chris, very good.
So, if nothing else, you get to enjoy some wonderful images of me and Jack vampire hunting, essentially, which is just great fun, right?
And me as a vampire as well.
Yeah, and you as a vampire, and who doesn't want to see that?
Exactly. It's the dream.
Yeah, so this is something which is completely free. There is only one limitation, really, is that you have to sign up by the 20th of August, which is
Next Tuesday.
next Tuesday. So we'll be talking about this again as a reminder on the podcast next week. But yeah, in general, yeah, it's completely free. There is absolutely solid gold advice in there. There is included in that is something which will be available for sale at some point. We agreed on that or not yet?
We did agree on that. We haven't
Yeah,
decided when exactly, but it will be after the course is released
after the
and
course
the
release.
course has
So
been gone through.
yep. So there is a course with a little download included in that, completely free, which is the anatomy of the perfect sales call that we've come up with together. And there's all sorts of great stuff in there, which is just going to help you to not get the inquiries from the people you don't want to get inquired from, how to deal with them when they do try and waste your time, how to just basically ignore them, and just how to kind of separate the wheat from the chaff so that you can concentrate on dealing with the people within your business who you want to deal with, and not deal with the people who you don't want to deal with, because ultimately that is the crux of running a successful wedding business. So
Yeah.
has that been explained fairly well?
I think so, yeah. It kind of sums it up perfectly. For those of you who are listening to the podcast and are wondering what that link is that I posted in the comments, it is www.weddingindustrywisdom.co.uk/how to kill wedding time vampires, with dashes between each one. I appreciate that's a little bit long, but it makes perfect sense, really. So you will learn how to kill wedding time vampires. That's the whole idea. And it's a course that I was very excited about, and then Chris turned it into this vampire theme. But we kind of want to have a bit of fun, because we appreciate that running a business isn't always fun. Sometimes there's hard stuff going on. Sometimes it's just a pain in the arse, and you've got to knuckle down and get through it. So we've tried to inject a little bit of fun here, create some energy, and create something a little bit different for you guys. And it is completely free, costs you not a penny at all, and it's not one of those things where we're going to be selling you something at the end of it. It is genuinely completely free, and it's just there for you guys to get some extra value, to enjoy how to save yourself some time. Because that's the only thing you can't get back in your life. You can't get more time. So that is what we're essentially buying you here. Yeah, you're getting for free time.
Time. We're giving you time. I think that's a very lovely thing that we are doing. So I don't think there's anyone watching live as we speak at the moment.
There's a couple of people. There's a couple of people on, but no one's commenting. They must be busy signing up at the moment.
They're clearly busy signing up and interested to come and hunt wedding time vampires with us. I should point out that we're not actually talking about killing people. Just to be
No.
It's a figure of speech.
It's a metaphorical kill.
It's a metaphorical kill. Julie's watching. It was not showing anyone watching to me, so I was.
I had a couple of people on here.
I was feeling slightly heartbroken. I have since recovered. But if there's no further questions, I think we'll probably wrap it up about there. But yeah, come and join the squad as we go out and try and kill time vampires. Jack's paused again, and I don't know if it's me or whether it's
still
Jack.
here.
Oh, your face is just paused. It's doing that
Your
weird
face
thing
is
again.
paused as well, but I think that's on ours and not on the podcast or on the stream, because I can still see it on the on Facebook on my laptop perfectly fine.
Okay, that's all right then. So, if you are not particularly interested in killing time vampires, I'm not sure why you wouldn't be, and you just want a little bit further information about who we are and what we do, then you can head to weddingindustrywisdom.co.uk. There are courses on all sorts of different things, from social media, having a good website, so we can do a website audit for you, coaching calls, if you want to work with us one-on-one. If you're really stuck in a rut and have an obstacle in your business which is just preventing you from getting where you want to be, we can talk that through with you and get you to where the position where you want your business to be in. All the information on that is on the website. Anything else to add to that, Jack, at all?
No, you've smashed it. And we will be back, as always, this time next week.
Yeah, should be fun. And I look forward to seeing basically we're going to be sharing more of these vampire pictures on the wedding industry group.
Yes.
Over the coming days. So,
definitely.
If nothing else, you can enjoy them and enjoy Jack's. I would say hard work, but
Jack's work.
Jack's work, because it wasn't particularly hard, was it?
No.
No. Jack's work.
See you next week, guys.
Thanks very much for watching. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.